Going live. Happy Tuesday. Good morning, everybody. I'm Lisa Meta from Metamorfize.com, coming live at you from Mexico, Oaxaca. And I'm a mind mastery coach and breathwork practitioner. And mind mastery. Today, we're going to be talking about thoughts. You gotta think about what you think about. Think about what you think about. In this post, you will see two links to SoundCloud because I made a song that's called Think About What You Think About, because that's how important it is for mind mastery, for self mastery, for self inquiry, for change, for evolution, for so many things. You have 50 to 70 thoughts a day. That's a lot of mind movement. So it is just self analysis to start to get interested in what we're thinking about, because you're either creating your life by design or by default. And I want you to be an artist. I want you to be the master of your destiny, the painter of your masterpiece, which means learning how to listen to your mind, learning how to hear what you're saying to yourself. What are your thoughts? Because this is how it breaks down. Hey, whoever's here, what's up? What's up? Oh, hey, I see you waving. Talking about your thoughts today. Whoever's here on Facebook, say hi to me. I'd love to see who's here. So this is why it's so important, because your thoughts. Okay, let's back it up. So if you're not liking the results in your life, most likely there is some thought or belief that is drilled back to having the effect that you're having in your everyday life, because your thoughts are creating your programming, and your programming is creating your thoughts. Your programming is creating your thoughts is creating your habits are creating your action is creating your results. So that's why it's super important that we look at what's working and what's not working in your life, which seems like, oh, that has nothing to do with what I'm thinking about, but it actually traces back to your thoughts. Like 100%. I mean, Bob Proctor, who's one of my biggest mentors in this space of thinking about what you think about, and that your thoughts are creating your things. Like, for instance, I love that he talks about everything is created twice. First in your mind as a thought, because like this pen, before I can hold it in my hand, which is the second creation, someone had to think this up. There are so many thoughts that came into this. So thoughts, and then through aligned action, this pen was created. So how does that apply to our lives? Well, our thoughts are running constantly. Your mind is just in constant movement, but either you're in the driver's seat of moving those thoughts to where you want them, or your thoughts are going to just run the old program. So I often talk about the needle on a record analogy when I'm talking about thoughts. So the needle on the record analogy, it runs like this. Imagine there's a record and you're having a thought that's an old thought, and maybe it's a good one, maybe it's a bad one. And I preface this saying not all thoughts are bad, and we don't want to change all of them, but there are some that aren't serving us. Some of the ones that are, if you're walking around saying like, I'm not lovable, or I'm not enough, it's subtle, it's underneath there, or I can't afford that. Things like that are actually running scarcity mentality versus abundance mentality. So if those tracks are running under there, so you have this needle on a record that's running, it's in a groove and it's running around that track in the record over and over and over again. And what's going to happen when anything goes again and again and again and again? It strengthens it. The groove gets deeper. And so when you want to change a thought and you want to change a behavior and you want to change a result, the work is actually taking the needle and moving it to a different part of the record where there's no groove. And it's going to run like a little baby in a baby groove, but naturally it's going to fall back into the deeper groove. And that's when we usually say, it's not working, or like you move it a few times and you get discouraged and you get into the failure mentality. But the thing is, it takes way more time than we think to change the neural pathways. That's what that whole neuroplasticity is, that you can change your thoughts. You can change the current and the way that your mind is programmed and thinking and wired. And that's why I do breath work and mind mastery, because breath work is such an amazing tool for rewiring your body and releasing and getting in touch with the old patterns without actually having to understand them. And that's why I got into these two very strong components, and my whole business is based on them. Because number one, I'm a very cerebral, very analytical, be it Virgo or whatever, come from a family of thinkers. And sometimes my mind was, the question is your mind working for you or against you? And I'm like, the wittiness is awesome, and the strategic thinking and my MacGyver skills are amazing, but they were also creating a lot of obsessive thinking. And I found myself, I was not using my mind in a way that was helpful. So my quest was to become the master of my own mind. When you have, like, I had food addictions and other obsessive thinking around, I had some isolation issues, which meant I was beating myself up. I came out of a lot of darkness to figure out how to navigate my own world. And I just offer these techniques to you and to anyone listening because this is what worked for me. And there are so many things out there that are amazing. So being really cerebral, I had to kind of get into the science of it, which is why my program and my system is called the Science of Change. Because I had to understand, how is my mind working and why is it keep doing the same thing over and over again? But then I also realized there was this energetic component, which is where the breath work comes in and just helps identify and release out of my body some of the old stories that were stored in my system, my cells and my tissue. Breathwork was one of the most powerful ways that I was able to bypass my mind and actually release it on the body. Then use my mind to understand how to reprogram. So there was a releasing of the old and a programming of the new. And that was a very powerful combination. So back to thoughts. I can't talk about thoughts with also not mentioning words. Words matter, because this is kind of what I think about. I think about what I think about, but I'm also thinking you can't really go through your day without looking at the fact that, number one, you're constantly thinking, but you're making one decision after the next through thoughts. Like, to me, this is one of the most important structural, like, human things for us to get in touch with. Like, your mind can just start running wild. Like, I don't know, I've gone down many rabbit holes, which actually I call them habit holes, because you just start spinning down and you've lost control. And that's the moment you have to step out and see if you can see your life from a witnessing perspective. And one of my favorite questions to ask myself is, all right, what are my options in this moment? What are my options in this moment helps me snap out of whatever spinning little hole I was going to go down. There is something called the law of thinking. Oh, hey, Adrian. The law of thinking is actually the first law in the 11 Forgotten Laws that Bob Proctor teaches. And it's the first one because it's the most important. You have to get in touch with your mind. You really need to learn to use your mind strategically towards what it is you're growing in your life. And what does that mean? That means you're paying attention to the language. You are using words that have powerful energy to magnify and amplify. I just got in a conversation yesterday because it was about manifesting and repetition. And if you go to manifestinghacks.com, I have a video there that teaches you these manifesting hacks that are all about first identifying if you have a thought. That's the hardest part, actually, is to catch the thought. Identify it. And then the second thing that I suggest, instead of just like quickly trying to like change everything, is like just add up until now to something. Because the minute you say up until now, you're honoring it that it's still there, but you're just slowly putting it into the past. And then you go into certainty. Of course I'm going to whatever you want. So I'm bringing this up because words matter. How you're talking about your life, how you are referring to yourself. Like, I just eliminated, seriously, certain words from my life. You'll never hear me say broke or debt or fat, because that used to be something I used to call myself a lot. So I just start to, not say that one anymore. And words matter. Yeah, I mean, if words have frequencies and then you're always using them to string, so words are stringing along thoughts. Words are stringing along your sentences. They make your sentence. Your sentence makes your thoughts, and your thoughts are a part of what you're doing to strategically make decisions. So for me, I like to drill it down like that so I can understand. Who's here? Say hi, drop an icon. Hey, everyone. So yeah, I mean, if you've heard of Carla Schultz, she says, where you wire, you fire. So the more you're wiring and saying, where you fire, you wire. So where you're firing, meaning the more you have that same thought, the more you do the same thing over again, you're creating this wiring. And that is why, if you're like, I hate my body, I hate my job, I hate my body, I hate my job, I hate my body, I hate my job, over and over, maybe you're not even realizing you're saying it, which is where then meditation comes in, where getting still enough to listen to yourself. What are the thoughts that you are having? And really mind mastery. You got to get into the driver's seat. You're driving this truck, this vehicle, this body, this mind, So let me see if there's anything else I wanted to talk about today. We're going to pick a tarot card Tuesday. We always do that. Yeah, because also once you learn to catch all of those older thoughts that may not be serving you, you also use your mind to visualize out and to start creating more of what you want. It's also a powerful tool for creation. Obviously, like I said, everything is creative choice first in your mind. And I also want to say, this is very important. You already are a master manifester. Everyone is. You are literally creating every single thing you have in your life right now. So maybe you want to look around and be like, wow, I'm really excited that I created that. Like me, I'm in Mexico right now. I created this. I had to string together a bunch of thoughts. I had to change a lot of my thinking. I had a lot of fear, so I had to look at fear a different way. I mean, I don't mean to simplify it. It's not, I always say, like, change is not hard necessarily, but it takes effort. Like, you're going to have to push into different spaces that are uncomfortable, but that's also every change has a resistance threshold, and that's just the nature of nature, actually. Somebody wants to I'm not really taking requests right now or to come into this live, but maybe another time. All right, so let's see, did I cover everything? Yeah, I think today, thoughts is like a really big one for me. So I almost get overwhelmed thinking about all the things to think about. But this is I'll leave you with this, and we'll pick a card to get inspired by this. Think about what you think about stuff. Listen to my track. Think about what you think about. Move your body, move your life. If you feel stuck in your life, move. Mental movement, physical movement. Movement is the way to get unstuck. Like fear, love, stagnation, all the old loves to stay looping. challenge yourself, question everything. I have a program coming up called Rise. And the reason why I'm doing thoughts today, and we did inventory last week, is because this is what we take inventory, and then we start digging into what are the thoughts that we're having, because you got to get real with yourself, I think a lot of the time we say we want to change, but we don't actually want to look at what's happening. I think that's just our culture too. Like, quick fix, quick fix. Is there a pill for that? One of the hardest times in my life was actually doing the breathwork training and getting so real. I mean, that was a shedding that I had never really, that was an intense shedding, but with the realness also came the realness, because I shed and got real with what was really going on with my addiction and the way I was thinking about myself. And I was not the same person on the other side. And in the Rise program, it's a 90-day program. That's 3 months. We're going to be looking and having a whole self-inquiry journey. Looking at yourself, looking at your thoughts, breathing deep. It's a beautiful experience. We did it last March, and it happened to coincide right with the pandemic, and everyone was so grateful to have a container and a group to be in. And this container is really beautiful. It's very tight. I take these group programs very serious. I love what I do, and I'm here to support anyone who's looking to break negative thinking and take positive action. It's really, you just pull the blinders away, the illusions. Fear is false evidence appearing real. That's the thing. You get real. Hey, Brooke, what's up? Greetings. Hola, ¿cómo estás? All right, so I'm going to pick a card. Here we go. Wow, I didn't think I had a lot to say today, and I'm going already over. So here we go. I'm going to go for 11 because that's my favorite number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yes, sharing. Beautiful. Oh, such a beautiful card. Sharing. In relation to your thoughts, I would say for number 1 is one of the sharing out loud. You can start to hear yourself. When you do catch yourself in a thought, I want to say that it is so okay to say something out loud and then quickly reframe it if you catch yourself. You don't need to be stuck with that thought. In fact, hearing yourself, sharing your thoughts out loud with people is one of the best ways to hear what you're saying, because, we're holding it inside a lot. Sharing also has to do with your gifts. Sharing of don't hold on to your gifts. You're here to shine. And to shine, again, like if shining your gifts is result driven, which means you're over here trying to create something, then you need to look. If you're not shining and you're not able to share, then you could be stuck in a contraction or in some negative thinking or scarcity thoughts that you need to come out into an abundance mindset. Start thinking different. The things around you don't change, but the way you see them can. And if you start seeing the things around you differently, then the things around you differently look different. Tongue twister. But nothing changes if nothing changes, and it just really comes down to how you're thinking. And one of my most powerful manifesting tools is just sharing, like, what I want for myself. Focus on where you're going, not where you've been. And that's another thing about thoughts with the wiring and the firing, is that the universe, your mind, everything, it doesn't know past, present, future. It only hears the word. So focus on words that have highest vibration. Don't think about what you don't want. Start talking about what you want. And if you've come to any of my Manifest and Mingle workshops, we do something called the How Are You hack, which is basically like anytime anyone asks you, how are you? That is an opportunity to share what you want for yourself. Hey, Brooke, how are you? Hey, Lisa, how are you? I'm great. I'm launching a 90-day program right now, and I'm looking for looking for 14 people on the edge of change, looking to really be in a container and bust through to their next level. That was an opportunity for me to share exactly what I need for my life right now. I'm sharing the gifts that I have. So how are you? don't miss that opportunity. That's a manifesting hack. It's one of my favorites. And I'm going to leave you with this. We're 20 minutes in. Share your gifts with me. Keep thinking about what you're thinking about. Let me know how you, if you like my tracks on SoundCloud, like them, comment. I'm looking to make some more music, so it's very supportive. I'm sharing my gifts. My music is one of those things I'm excited about. So, all right, everyone. Happy Tuesday. See you soon next week. Bye.